Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Entertaining Minds of Complicated People. My name is Marcus, and today I am joined by your hosts, David and Harry.
Hello.
Hello.
On today's episode, we'll be talking about Wonder Woman 1984 and HBO Max, and The Walking Dead film date. We are very glad to have you guys with us today as we go into our first topic. And our first topic is about the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. And here to explain more is Harry.
Okay. So the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra is the newest flagship of from Samsung, and it features a 6.88-inch display, AMOLED, 120 Hz, Gorilla Glass, and first of all, how do you two feel about the screen and what it features?
I honestly think it looks like a very strong sort of sturdy phone, even though it's Gorilla Glass and that's really strong. I would still definitely have a screen protector on because if you don't put screen
Yeah,
protectors on your phones, what are you doing?
yeah,
Or if you don't
that
have a phone
understandable.
case, yeah. But yeah, I think it looks like a really, really slick phone, and just as a testament to modern technology.
I'd probably not use a screen protector on this one. Actually, I've got a lot of trust in Samsung. I've used Samsung
Yeah,
products. That was my first phone, a Samsung phone. It still is my friend's. Um, so I have a lot of trust in them. And so if they're advertising something and they're saying that this is definitely like the best out there currently, then I'd I'd trust them. Another like feature you'll get on later, but there are just so many things that Samsung do that Apple don't, sorry, and that's just one of the many reasons I love Samsung phones.
for the cameras we have 8K video. For the front-facing camera, it's 40 megapixels and 100 times zoom. First of all, that's slightly overkill for a front-facing camera to have 40 megapixels in terms of quality. Then
I don't know.
it,
I disagree. I think the way that we're moving now,
12,
phones are becoming.
the one for the ultra wide, which is the 12 megapixel one, the back as one of the back cameras, is probably the right sort of amount of megapixels for the front-facing camera because
No, I think any upgrade
sure
is
you'll
not as
take
good.
yeah
Yeah, no,
it's
I agree
good.
with David. You're outnumbered on
It's
this
just
one.
mm,
It's
I don't
if
care.
it's gonna be a new phone, then you have to have an upgrade. Yeah,
The other two cameras that are on the back, well, the other two, there's the wide angle camera of 108 megapixels and the telephoto, which is 10. I I would I would say that the wide angle camera in terms of megapixels should be put onto the ultra wide because you get a lot more of the photo than just the regular wide. You'd get more quality and then therefore all that. But yeah, what do you think about that?
Um, to be honest, I have to say again, an upgrade is an upgrade for me. I don't think there really can be any overkill. Um, because especially if we're gonna make a phone, I want it to be a good phone. And a lot of people nowadays are worried about camera quality, and so any upgrade to a camera will definitely attract more people. Um, my only issue is how are they gonna attract Apple users? Because basically that's their only huge rival in this industry. So I don't know how they're gonna attract Apple users from their standard Apple phones to these very high tech, futuristic Samsung phones.
Marcus, what about you?
just looking at the phone itself, it boasts 8K resolution.
Yeah,
You just
that's a
don't get that on any other phone. Don't quote me on that, but I just
you don't get it often. But
no,
then
it's
where do you see 8K like monitors or TVs
oh
to be able
yeah,
to
I
support
mean
that?
the practicality of it is very
Yeah,
questionable.
it's overkill, but it shows what we can do with phones nowadays.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
well,
It's it shows how far we've come, but I think we've went either a bit too overboard with it, or we're just going too quickly with technology and advancing.
Well, I think the only issue with the Samsung phone is that they need to just change the way it looks aesthetically, and maybe not focus too much on the specs of it all, because currently I think specs wise they are leading the game.
Oh yeah. And can I just point out something that's very worth noting, very much worth noting, is that we're talking about the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, not the regular Samsung Galaxy. So a lot of these specs will be hyped up compared to what you actually get, and the price tag on this is very hefty. So it's not as if it's one of their cheaper, affordable phones. So you are paying for the
Phew.
quality,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I think you're playing somewhere
yeah,
near like $120,000.
yeah, this phone, the Galaxy S21 Ultra with 5G, is £1,329. So very hefty price
it,
tag.
yeah.
Sorry, I
It's got a
read that
hefty
wrong.
price tag, but compared to what Apple put out a few years ago, it's not too bad. It's for what you're getting, it's not the worst thing. You'll trust it more if you drop it. And I think it has better specs than most Apple phones. So make with that what you want. But yeah.
Question: What do you think they should add though? Do you think they should add like macro cameras and stuff like that? Like a better battery? Because I know one of the issues that Samsung have had in the past is their battery and how it can get quite hot quite quickly, and it quite quickly it runs out.
Uh,
Will
um,
out?
I would say that they with the specs that it's got, I would have thought they would have ramped up the battery to be able to cope with that. Right now, with what I've got, those issues that you've just stated are not present at all.
Yeah,
The battery lasts a long time and doesn't, and it's just I would have thought they would have prepared for that problem
yeah, with
at
the
least
cameras.
a
Not the
little
camera,
bit.
battery. But yeah. Overall, it seems like a very impressive phone. Some of the colors they look really, really good. I think it's just like I think Nat called it the matte phone, the matte black phone. Quite funny.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
went with Phantom plus color, didn't
yeah,
they?
everything Phantom, which is
There's
pretty
really,
impressive, pretty interesting. Yeah, it's an impressive phone, but then again, every year Samsung comes out with an impressive phone. I think the only issue with it would be no micro SD slot, that's a big thing. That's a real thing. You need a micro SD slot, and I'd say the only issue with it is just a micro SD slot. You need a micro SD slot. That's just a given with any phone. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's my opinion on it anyway.
yeah, the no micro SD that's pretty irritating. And aside from that, there is also the option of having the S Pen and being able to use that on the phone, which that's really good too. Aside from that, there's nothing more to say on it from me anyway. Marcus, what about you?
The last things that I just point out is it's got a bright night sensor, so adjust settings automatically for low light photography. It's S Pen compatible. Again, the Ultra is S Pen compatible. The others aren't. Um, yeah, so Type C fast charging, as we've already just mentioned, and also wireless power share, which is a big thing for Samsung. I don't know how long they've been doing this, if this is their first phone doing this, but I know
I
Huawei
thought,
did this a while ago.
yeah, that was where it was. The Huawei S was it the 20 or 21 maybe? This was
P20,
a
I
big
think it
thing for
was.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, P20 Pro.
P20 Pro. That's the name of them.
Yeah, that was a big selling point of the Huawei phones, and then there was
They
a whole
post that.
controversy over Huawei. But yeah, I think wireless power share is certainly something like really cool, and
Yeah.
I hope we
If
can see that. Go on.
Yeah, if no, well, if it's done correctly, then that's a win in their books. But
Oh yeah,
hopefully they've learned from Huawei and don't fall in trouble with the like media and stuff.
yeah, and I think yeah, I just think the wireless power share is really cool, and I really hope that eventually this can end up in more affordable phones, and become sort of an industry standard, as has so many other things, like really good camera quality just seems to come as seems to come as standard these days.
And that's all we'll talk about of the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. You can buy it now at Samsung.com. On to the next topic.
Thank you, Harry. So, on to topic number 2 now, where we are going to be talking about the GameStop stock situation. And
GameStop stock situation. Say that
yeah,
fast, Jesus.
GameStop stocks. Yeah,
Yeah.
GameStop stocks. GameStop stock
Topic.
situation. GameStop stock situation. GameStop stock situation. GameStop stock
This is
situation. GameStop stock situation. Okay, that's fair.
This seems like this is in the talk of the year. Well, so far, the year's only just begun, but
Yeah, so just this is an example of why I love Reddit and the internet. GameStop has had a rough old time during the pandemic, as not only have business models been moving online for most games, so a lot more people are buying games online and digital downloads that they can't sell, and also due to the pandemic, people can't sell their games. And a lot of this business model depends on buying and selling games from other people. So during the pandemic, people haven't been able to sell their games, and a lot more people have been buying their games online in recent years and buying them digitally, which means they can't sell them on. This creates a massive problem. This lack of availability of stores and sort of the global pandemic created a massive situation with GameStop. And unfortunately, they were on the decline, and they may have gone bust if the kind people of Reddit hadn't stepped in. Although this wasn't just out of the kindness of their hearts, but more to teach the people over in the hedge funds, the rich people, a lesson. I'm going to do my best to explain this. So what's happened is people have been buying and selling stocks. So you buy low, you sell high. That is, that is essentially how stock market works. You buy when it's cheap, and then you sell when it's high, and then you get your profit. So what happens is what's been happening is these hedge funds borrow stocks from elsewhere. So they borrow these stocks, then they sell them. And so say I borrow a stock from David at £10. I then take that stock and we agree that I'm going to give it back after a certain amount of time. So let's say a week. So at the beginning of that week, I will most likely sell my stock, and then I will, I'll sell high, and then I'm going to buy low. And so I wait for the price of the stock to come down. And so that £10 stock I sell for £10, then the price drops of stocks to £3. So that way I can get 4 stocks out of that. So now I have 4 stocks, and it's coming to the end of that week. So it's coming to the end of the week now, and it's time for me to give my stocks, his stocks, back. So I have to give these stocks back to David, but I only borrowed 1 stock off of him, so I only have to give 1 stock back. And with the money that I got from selling the original stock, I still have 3 left over. I don't have to give those stocks back to him. So I get to keep those, and that's my profit. And so these stocks are now valued at £3 each. So I keep the £6, and I give David back the other £3 stock. So as a profit, I make £6. Then the price of stock goes up, and then I now have £20 worth of stock because it's £10 each. And that's how they make their money. But because they're borrowing, they have to give it back. And what the people of Reddit did is they started buying stock, and they started rapidly buying it up, which forced the stock price up. So I borrow this stock off of David for £10, and that is worth £10.
Yep.
And then I sell it for £10, and then I would normally use that £10 to buy the stock back at a lower price. But what if that price doesn't go down? What if that price goes up? And that's exactly what's happened in the case of GameStop. Reddit users push the stock price up so much that when I have 1 stock of £10, that one £10 stock those stocks are now worth £300. But because I've sold that, I only have £10 to buy back a £300 stock. And at the end of the day, David wants his stock back. So I have to sacrifice my own money and buy 1 stock at £300 just to give back to David, because that is his stock. But when you have this on the millions of pounds, the millions of dollars scale, when it's not just one stock, but it's hundreds of thousands, millions of stocks, that adds up. And a lot of people miss out on this stock. And what the people of Reddit did is they are pushing it up so much that these greedy people are no longer getting rich off of the suffering of a company. They're losing out exponentially. And it's a good thing in many ways, but also a bad thing because at the end of the day, this is how people earn their living. And whether you like it or not, it happens. But gaming is not really the cause of this. It's not, it's related to a video game company, but this has nothing to do with video games. It was the internet wanting to teach these people a lesson. This all started on r/Wall Street Bets, and at the current moment in time, GameStop stocks are worth 271 US dollars. And compared to earlier in the month, each stock was valued around 20 US dollars. And overnight,
I'm not gonna lie. This is quite disappointing. I thought it was like big
it
money,
is.
but it's only
It is
$200.
to
That's
you.
per stock. That's
That
per
yeah,
one.
that's per
That's
one
one.
stock.
Oh right.
That's not for a collection of them. That's for one.
Yeah. So if you have millions of stock,
Okay.
if you have 1 million stocks, you now have 263 million pounds, well, dollars,
Jesus.
2.63 billion. And
Yeah, but then that all goes. Where does that money go? You don't own that money. It's not like you have that money instantly.
yeah, well, if you sell it, you do. But you have to be able to sell it
Right.
at a high price. And again, that's how it works. Buy low, sell high. And oh god, the price as I'm talking, I'm watching the price of GameStop drop. It's gone down from 325 at the beginning of the day, and it's rapidly declining to 255 and counting.
It'll
It's
probably go back up when they could buy again.
I mean, the stock market in the UK, like the American stock market in GMT, opened at around 2:30. So yeah, it's still plenty of time for it to climb back up. But this is everyone selling their stocks because no one's really sure. But it's interesting, I have to say. And whilst this may not be the most interesting piece of news to some people, and a lot of people will be like, "Oh, what's this got to do with anything?" And yes, while this has nothing to do with our normal topics of gaming, this is something we couldn't not address. It's something that's never been seen before. It's something we will likely never see again. And it's something that has changed the way that the stock market works. Because I can almost guarantee you there will be people who will look at this and look at this moment and go, this is the power of the internet.
It really is our mind behind something. They can do literally anything.
Yeah, the internet can deal with a lot. And as I just said, GameStop stock had dropped. It's again slowly climbing back up. And that is the nature of the stock market. It's now down 19% as opposed to 30%. So it's getting there. But it wildly fluctuates and it probably won't close until around midnight GMT. So we won't know what the outcome of this is. But yeah, I think that's a very interesting topic. But then again, that could just be me. Do you guys have any opinions on this matter?
The GameStop stock situation. Let me try that. GameStop stock situation. Not really. I mean, the internet is a strong place filled with a strong amount of people. So it's just when they put their minds as a collective behind something, really accomplish anything they want. And they brought back a dead company and almost worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So we're going to be moving on to a break now, and after the break we will be talking about Wonder Woman 1984 and HBO Max, the confirmation of The Walking Dead filming date, and and we will be discussing our favorite TV shows. We'll see you after the break. And we are back after that break, and now we are going to be moving on to Wonder Woman 1984 and HBO Max. So, 1984, I have to be really specific about this. So, Wonder Woman 1984 released on Christmas Day, as we have covered in a previous episode. And it released on HBO Max, and as you can expect, HBO subscriber numbers rose significantly. So, it's around 41 million in the USA and 61 million worldwide. The HBO Max numbers at the end of the third quarter of 2020 had doubled. So this debuted in May of 2020, and it had 8.6 million subscribers by the end of September. And by the end of the fourth quarter worldwide, there were 17.2 million people subscribed. And HBO Max is likely to do well this year with more movies coming out, as you know, and this is reported on by GameSpot. So I personally think that HBO Max is just another streaming service. Then again, I said that about Disney Plus, so not the best person to come to when it comes to streaming services. But at the end of the day, I think this is going to do quite well for HBO. And HBO do have a lot of good series, like obviously Chernobyl and Band of Brothers and The Pacific, all absolutely brilliant shows, and all produced by HBO. I think this is going to be a really good big step forward for them. And Wonder Woman 1984 as well. Although it's lost its certified fresh Rotten Tomatoes score, I still think it's going to do fairly well commercially. David, do you have any opinions on this?
I personally highly rate HBO Max. I really do. I like the service. When I stream, I always watch shows that are on HBO Max and movies that are on HBO Max because I just really like those movies. So I think the selection that they've got on there is definitely top tier. On top of that, my opinions on Wonder Woman. I think the main issue was, as we said, I believe in that episode, when it was released. So that's probably why they're putting on HBO Max. I just think HBO Max needs more representation in the streaming business industry. I mean, right now it's just between Netflix and Disney Plus, but I think HBO Max really has some potential in being a top tier streaming service.
Yeah, definitely. I think that although HBO Max on the surface doesn't really seem to have much going for it, when you actually look at the catalog of shows that HBO have, just like Disney, speaking of Disney Plus, just quickly side note, they are actually adding more stuff to Disney Plus. So they're adding Star, which is a whole nother part of their streaming service, which will have series such as Prison Break, and it'll include movies such as Die Hard. So I think that's just going to be really good for Disney Plus. But HBO Max, again, I didn't realize how much stuff HBO actually did, but when you go into it, a lot of their series are really, like, a lot of them are critically acclaimed. And if I'm not mistaken, Game of Thrones as well is HBO. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, you are correct there. That is HBO.
But yeah, I really do think this has potential, and I'm not going to knock any streaming service because I thought Disney Plus was going to be a waste of time. I kind of bought into that, and I'm really enjoying WandaVision, which has got really interesting at episode 4. By the time this comes out, episode 5 will be a thing. But yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see. And if they do more Disney Plus things where they do like individual HBO original series that only go on HBO Max, I think that'd be quite interesting. Harry, do you have anything to add?
No, not really.
Oh, I was watching these like WandaVision conspiracy theory videos, and there's this one scene. Obviously, I've not watched the show, so I don't actually know what episode this is from. But there's this one scene.
Spoiler alert. I mean, I've watched it, but I'm just saying there might be a spoiler alert.
I haven't.
It's not really a spoiler alert. It's like a little detail.
Okay, go on.
It's basically at
Definitely if you want, Harry.
at the end of the episode, like they holding the babies or something, right? And like you can see this like little like look from Vision. He looks so creepy and he looks so scared. And it was basically videos about how Wanda's like holding him against his will, and this is like foreshadowing something to come in later episodes where he like breaks out of the simulation or something like that. And the way he stared at me was terrifying. So that's basically just I really want to watch this show now.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a really good show. Like the first, it takes about 2 episodes for it to get interesting and for you to start to understand stuff, but it is so so good. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I am, and also just shout out to Snowpiercer as well. Obviously check the age rating before you watch it, but
Is that the one with
Snowpiercer.
Chris Evans or the one with the guy from Wonder? If you watch that movie,
Um, I've seen Wonder, but
TV show
the
or the
TV show,
movie? Okay, the
TV
TV
show.
show. Okay. Oh yeah. I haven't watched the TV show, but I watched the movie, and there were a lot of interesting comparisons between that and Charlie the Chocolate Factory that have been going around, and loads of theories how the guy at the end, can't remember his name, but if you've watched the movie, it's pretty uncanny, the comparisons.
Yeah. Oh god damn. That's where I've also yeah, so he's in Hamilton as well, the lead
Oh
actor.
yes, he is. Yes. He plays what's he playing?
'Cause I thought I recognized him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good roles.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. I mean, like seriously, Snowpiercer. If you haven't watched it, check it out. Check age rating first, please. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, it is really, really good. And next episode comes out on Tuesday. So which for us is tonight, but when this episode releases on Tuesday, it gets released in America on a Monday, but no, we have to wait till Tuesday to get it, or Wednesday, depending on who you ask, because this website decided to tell me it was going to be released on Tuesday, the 3rd of February. Now, please, someone tell me what's wrong with that.
Dude, it's the second.
And then it said the next episode is going to be released on Tuesday, the 10th of
Wait, what
February.
what sauce is this? What sauce is this?
I can't remember.
Oh no. It'd be so funny if it was like some really good, like really like big brand, like like freaking IMDb or something like that. That'd be hilarious. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
So, talking of hit TV shows, and as we all know, TV shows, successful TV shows will either get adapted into a movie or a movie into a TV show. In the case of Snowpiercer, which I believe was a comic, then got turned into a
A movie and then
film, yeah, and then got turned into a TV show. This is the same sort of thing, and it was a comic, then it was a TV show, and now it is going to be a movie. And of course, I'm referring to The Walking Dead.
whoa, don't forget the video game, dude.
Yeah, Telltale. But yeah, I mean that was actually supposedly a really good video game, but I never tried it. But The Walking Dead is I've never watched it. I'm just getting that out of the way. I've never watched Walking Dead, but it is a critically acclaimed zombie TV show, and I believe it was a comic first, then it got turned into a TV show, and then now they have turned it into a movie, and we have now got a confirmed, yes, we have now got a confirmed filming date for this movie. So it was confirmed by Andrew Lincoln, and it's had 2 years of delays when it was originally announced at Comic Con in 2019, and production was intended to start that year. Then the TV show allowed to start filming again in October of 2020, which opened the door for the film to go ahead. Then it's now been alleged that it's going to start filming in spring of 2021, and thanks to and this is according to them, thanks to the COVID vaccine, which obviously allows for more safe production to take place. In a statement from Andrew Lincoln, he said, "With good intentions, and if everything works, I can leave my country, England. I plan to be back in America filming in spring or summer." So, I just personally, again, never seen this. This is all, of course, according to Screen Rant, and I just think that The Walking Dead, from what I've heard of it, is brilliant. It does go downhill, then it picks up back up, and then it seems to be on a roller coaster. It happens with every TV show. I don't know whether this film is going to be an extension of the TV show, which is most likely the case, or whether it's going to be its own standalone thing. And it's also nice that the COVID vaccine is coming into play. We have had obviously multiple films that have now had multiple delays. So, coronavirus is a ever-changing thing and no one actually knows what's going to happen. David, do you have any opinions on this?
Well, Walking Dead wise, I'll be honest, I've only watched a few episodes here and there, so I don't really know the plot like to the full extent. But if it's anything like the video game which I played and a few of the comics that I've read, then I'd be I'm quite excited. This movie should be good. I mean, it's a critically acclaimed TV show, so you'd expect a lot from the movie because if it isn't as good, yikes, But yeah, that's basically what I have to say on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely it's going to be interesting how the film's going to turn out, whether because of the vaccine and because whether I'm sure they will self-isolate and obviously keep all the local restrictions in mind. Um, so obviously, we've got to hope they do that. But I don't know whether that means that they're going to have to social distance. And considering it's like a zombie movie and like zombies bite you and stuff, which means you have to get obviously quite close to these people. I think it's going to be a hard trying to negotiate all these and work around these restrictions. But at the end of the day, I have faith in these people that they're going to be able to make a great movie that's loyal to the fans, and they are not going to break any of the COVID restrictions because that would be the worst thing they could do. And I truly think if there's any in this day and age, if any movie breaks COVID restrictions, I think there'll either be a boycott or the film will get cancelled entirely or reshot at another date with a completely different crew. That's just my opinion. So, Harry, do you have any opinions on this?
To be honest, you've both talked about it enough that I don't need to give any. Plus, I know nothing, so I can't say anything anyway.
Fair enough. I don't think many of us are actually qualified to talk on The Walking Dead, but it's big news for the industry, which it's not only big news for the fans of The Walking Dead, but it's also big news for the film industry as a whole because it proves that even through this pandemic, people are still willing to film in the name and essentially sacrifice their freedom in the name of entertainment because these people won't be able to go anywhere. Like we've seen it with the Guinness Six Nations. We've seen it there. We've seen it with the Six Nations tournament. Each team had to self isolate and they were not allowed to go anywhere outside of camp. And these people basically just gave up their freedom and they can't do anything. They have to stay in this place all in the name of sporting entertainment and just entertainment in general. So, a lot these people are giving up a lot more than I think people give them credit for. David, any final words on this?
Yeah, just I seriously appreciate these people for the things that they're doing. I mean, they're really putting their lives on the work just for our entertainment. So we have to appreciate that a bunch. So yeah, any crew members that listen to the podcast, thank you so much. Definitely don't, but thank you so much. And let us come on set maybe in the future potentially.
Imagine a small podcast like us getting a cameo just in The Walking Dead. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be, dare I say, Pog.
Ah!
What the hell was that?
Just the word "pog." Just it's like my trigger word.
It's so cringe.
So just to quickly reiterate, we in the interests of everyone's T's and C's, and just so we don't get into trouble for anything, we are not qualified to talk about the coronavirus in any way, shape, or form. We are not advising you to do anything, and we are not advising you against anything. We are not trying to influence any of your decisions. This is just purely us speculating what we think will happen with this movie and not the coronavirus pandemic and what may happen in the context of the pandemic. But we are not saying that this is definitive, and we are not saying this is what will or won't happen. So just any information that you get, make sure you're getting it from a trusted source, such as your government's website or your local news outlets, because we're not qualified to talk about it. So just bear that in mind. So that concludes today's episode. I'd just like to thank David and Harry for joining me today. And if you would like to continue to support us, you can go support us over on Instagram and Twitter at MindsOfPeoplePT. We also have a YouTube channel, which is the same name in the podcast. So we'd appreciate it if you went and gave us a subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on notifications so you get notified every time we drop a video. Same thing with Spotify. There are notifications on Spotify, so hit that bell and you can get notified every time we release an episode on Spotify if that's where you prefer to listen. Obviously, we do have our podcast everywhere else. We have it on Apple, Google, Amazon podcasts, which is something we've recently put on, and we have our own Discord server, which we will link in the description, and we will also link our website in the description of today's episode. So we'd just like to thank everyone for watching and staying here supporting us. We really couldn't do it without you guys. Really appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Peace.